Hi, it's the next day from when I was filming my March TBR. Kind of like nervous for it. I also only read like 3 pages today. Let's look how much I actually read, because okay, it was more than 3. I read 5 pages. I didn't really have time to read today. That's okay. So, I'm here to talk about the 10 books that I read last month. So, in February, I read a total of 10 books. I'm trying to think of my statistics. I read 8 5-star, 1 4-star, and 1 3-star. So it was pretty good. I also think I read only romance. Yes, I only read romance last month, mainly because it's it was February, but I guess I'm counting the Court of Thorns and Roses series kind of like a romance, because it's like a fantasy romance. So I think in my future wrap-ups you'll be seeing a lot more fantasy. So I forgot. Okay, so in the monthly wrap-ups I want to talk about my favorite and least favorite book. I might do like my top 3 favorite from this month if I can't choose, or like in the months or whatever, and just say these are my favorites. Just say those are like my favorites and stuff. And then I'll tell you my least favorite or favorites. So my least favorite book from last month was Frankly in Love, written by David Yoon. I talked about it more in last month's wrap-up, but I gave that book a 2-star, which, I mean, is not obviously as bad as a 1-star, but my ratings go like 5. I absolutely loved it. Loved it. 4-star is I liked it a lot. Like, it wasn't quite a perfect, but I loved it, or like liked it. 3-star was average, like in the middle. Didn't hate it, didn't love it. 2-star is like, I didn't like it. And then 1-star is I absolutely hated it. Don't know why I read it. I think the only book I've ever rated a 1-star was Looking for Alaska. But Frankly in Love by David Yoon, that was my least favorite book last month. My favorite book of last month in January, my favorite book of January was A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. I gave this book a 5 out of 5 stars. I still have really good memories and feelings towards this book, even though the rest of the series was so much better. But I still would give this a 5 out of 5 stars. I'll talk more about the Court of Thorns and Roses series a little bit later. So, now it is time to get into my actual wrap-up from February. So the first book that I read in February was The Selection, written by Kiera Cass. I read The Selection as my first book by Kiera Cass, and I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. If you don't know, I love the Selection series a lot. I still am currently right now reading Happily Ever After, but I'm like almost done. I'm about to start The Favorite, which is Marley's story, but I'm almost done with it, so that'll definitely be on this next wrap-up. But I read The Selection, and I'll tell you if they're my books or the library, whatever, because if you did not know, I am doing a yearly challenge where every time I read a book, I get to turn it around and have the spine out. So basically, every book on my bookshelf I haven't read this year, or like this on my bookshelf, and when I read them, I get to have the spine turn around. It's kind of like a gift to me because I like looking at the spines. So, if you did not know, The Selection follows a girl named America Singer, and when the prince comes of age, there's a selection, and basically 35 girls go to the palace, and only one wins the crown and wins his heart. It's like a Hunger Games, but no killing is how I like to describe it. It's really good. So, yeah. I gave it a 5-star, as I said. And just because I rated it a 5-star does not mean it's a favorite book of the month, because I think I only have one true favorite book of the month this month, maybe, but the 5 stars are still my favorites. The next book I read was The Elite by Kiera Cass. So this is the second book in the Selection trilogy. There was an original trilogy, and then she added on 2 books about her, America's Daughter, and then she wrote the novellas. So, basically. But I read The Elite, and obviously this is my book, and I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. This is the second book. I can't really talk about second books in series. It just doesn't work. And then my favorite book out of the Selection trilogy is The One, written by Kiera Cass. This was the third book that I read in the month of February, and of course I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. I love it. This was the final installment to the original Selection trilogy. So, the first 3 books I read this month were the Selection series, and I finished these within 6 days. So, like, on the 6th day, I was done with the entire trilogy, I was really proud of myself because I finished each of these in, like, 1.5 days. So, okay, so now we're on to my next little pile. So, the next book that I read was A Very Large Expanse of Sea by Tahada Mafi. And I honestly kind of, like, did not expect me to pick it up this month. I thought next month I would pick it up, but I didn't. So, if you can't tell, this is a library book. So, I gave this book, would you guess? I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. So, I thought I might because it's Tahada Mafi. I've read Shatter Me once, and I loved it, and I read this once, and I loved it. So, I didn't really have, like, I had a bunch of hope, and I had high expectations. So basically this follows a Muslim woman who is going to a new high school her sophomore year. I think it's, like, in the middle of the school year, and it's, like, a year after 9/11, so everyone, and even just normal years, everyone's just on edge with Muslim women wearing headscarves, and she wears a headscarf, and it's basically how, like, the story of her and a white boy falling in love. And I think it has some really important topics. It's a really cute romance, but it's always her second-guessing their relationship or just herself, period, because she is a Muslim woman. So, I think it's a very important book. I think you should definitely read it, and I gave it 5 stars. So, the next book that I read was, I did not see this happening last month. Like, I thought maybe I would get through half of this and then, like, not be able to put it in the wrap up, but I read A Court of Mist and Fury, written by Sarah J. Maas. So, as I said, last month, I read A Court of Thorns and Roses. This month, I did finish A Court of Mist and Fury, and definitely my favorite out of the original 3 books in the novella. I haven't, as I said, am not through A Court of Silver Flames yet, but that is what that book is. But I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. So if you did not know what A Court of Thorns and Roses, like the series, basically is about, it was a girl named Feyre, and her family is poor. So one day she goes out into the woods and kills a wolf that is a fae. And basically this world is split into 2 realms. There's the faes and the there's the faes and the humans, and there's a wall separating them. And basically Feyre has to pay for her crimes by getting basically taken captive by one of the high fae that live in the fairy world. And just please read it. It sounds way better than it's way better than it sounds. So please just go read it. It was so good. Loved this book. So this is also a library book, but we did order an edition of it with this cover in paperback so that I can have the entire series, but so far I've only ordered those 2. First letdown of the month, and that was Love Maybe, I can't speak, so that was Love Maybe, written by Heather Hepler, and I gave this a 3 out of 5 stars. So I thought I would at least give this a 4. I only gave it a 3. It's kind of disappointed. Basically, like, the first third of the book I hated. Like, I did not want to pick it up. The middle third, I was fine with it, and then the last third, I could not put it down. I loved it, so I gave it a well-rounded out 3. So this book basically follows a girl named Harper, and she's very cynical, just does not believe in love, and it's her friend putting together this plan to get the group of 3 friends all dates before Valentine's Day. What goes wrong, what's right, everything that happens in this book. And I don't have huge mixed feelings, but I don't love it. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is I did read these little Avatar Legend of Korra comics. Obviously, I'm not gonna rate them, not gonna do all that jazz because it's not an actual book. But The Legend of Korra Lost Pets, I thought it was super cute. So it's like Korra, and she's teaching Milo to be more selfless by finding all these people's lost pets after the events of the last season of Korra, I think. And basically, like, I don't know, and he helps like a homeless man. It's just really, really heartwarming. And then we have the Avatar: The Last Airbender shells, which has Sokka and Suki. And so basically they go into the shell store, and the guy is very sexist, and he tells them that they cannot buy shells there because like they tell this one woman that comes in that she can't buy shells because she's a woman and she doesn't know anything about shells. She's not a true collector. So Suki gets mad and fights them, and then teaches the woman like self-defense with her Kyoshi warrior stuff. So they were both really cute and really heartwarming, and I just wanted to mention them in this because I thought they were great. The next book I read this month, I did not see happening either, and that was A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas. I don't know how this happened. Like, physically am shocked. This is the third book in the Court of Thorns and Roses series. I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. I could not rate it lower. I really think this was a necessary book. I've seen a lot of people diss on it, but I think it was good. Not great, but still really good, but still a 5-star because I don't think I'll ever be able to rate Sarah J. Maas' stuff lower than a 5-star. My opinion. I read The Heir, written by Kiera Cass. So this is my 1 4-star book from the month. You can see my feelings through my tabs. I have a couple discussed, some loves, some funnies, sad. I think I'm gonna actually make a review video on this one in The Crown. So this follows Edlin, which is America and Maxon's daughter from the selection, because it's pretty straightforward what happens, but and it follows her having a selection of her own with 35 suitors. I don't like Edlin in this book. I think she's a jerk, and I kind of wanted her to go home, even though she's the main character. So, mainly, I will show you one page where I just could not handle anything. These 2 pages were just stress. So, basically, a 4-star. I was hating it at first, but then I started to actually really enjoy it, so it grew on me. I'm surprised. I did not think that would happen. That's also my book, if you cannot tell. Also, this is my book, and A Court of Wings and Ruin is not my book. And we have The Crown, written by Kiera Cass, and I gave this book a 5 out of 5 stars. I'm shocked to my core. So this is the final book about Edlin, and I gave it a 5-star. I thought it was amazing. I thought it was fantastic. I loved it. I was sad. I was happy. I was rooting for Eric. Oh my god. Just please go pick up the duology. Did not think I would like it. If you like the selection, you'll probably enjoy this, because I did not think I was gonna enjoy it, because this is all Goodreads stuff and everyone was disappointed, and I think I'm in the little percent that thinks this book was amazing. Anyway, this is also my book. So the last book that I finished in the month of February was A Court of Frost and Starlight. How did this happen again? Like, I literally did not even think I would finish A Court of Mist and Fury, and yet I did. A Court of Frost and Starlight, I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. Again, are we shocked? No, we are not. I loved it. I thought it was really cute. Just like, it was like just talking about a holiday, and like they went shopping for each other, and I thought it was really adorable, and I liked it. So we're gonna go least favorite book of the month was Love Maybe by Heather Hepler. I don't think anyone's shocked. This is the lowest rated book on my read books from this month, because I did not enjoy it very much. So this is my least favorite book. Favorite book is split either 2 or 3 ways. I think it's split I think it's split 3 ways because I loved Quarter Frost and Starlight. So this is one of my favorite books this month. I have 3 favorites, as I said. So this is probably like my number 3 spot of my favorites. So I'm gonna have a top 3 favorite this month. I didn't think I would. So my 3rd favorite book this month was A Quarter Frost and Starlight, written by Sarah J. Maas. I just thought it was fun. My number 2 spot for my favorite book this month was The Crown by Kiera Cass. I did not think that this would, nope. But it happened. And we're here now. So my number 1 spot for my favorite book that I read in February is A Court of Mist and Fury, written by Sarah J. Maas, because I loved it. It was definitely my favorite out of the original trilogy series. Loved it. So we need to go through what's thing on my bookshelf. So we'll do the library books. So I'm taking back A Court of Mist and Fury. A Very Large Expanse of Sea. Oh my god, I'm not even taking back that many books. I thought I was going to take one more. And A Court of Wings and Rain. So the ones I'm going to put back on my bookshelf because they are mine are The Selection, The Elite, and The One, all written by Kiera Cass. I'm also going to put back up The Heir and The Crown, written by Kiera Cass, as well as A Court of Frost and Starlight. So we're going to go do that, and I'll record it, and then I'll just do the outro. Or I'll do the outro now, but I'll put the clip in between, if that makes sense. So we're gonna start out by putting books back up here. So as you can see, I have my Court of Thorns and Roses edition. Okay, so I think the only book I'm putting up here is A Court of Frost and Starlight, and I'm putting it out like that because I want to showcase the cover. So that's the first shelf. The only one that isn't going in the selection box set is Love Maybe. So I need to figure out where that goes, so you can see it. So it goes right here with the spine out. I mean, it's not that much of a change, but I want to put in this little space, but I'm sure we'll figure it out. So I'll do the outro now. So thank you all so much for watching this video. I did not think I would read that many books in February, and I'll see you in my next video, which will probably be a review of these. So, thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video.